Greetings, my noble knights. It is I, Blaze Templar, and we have a couple of battles for you today. Now, I was originally going to just have, like, one of them, but, one of them on the recording anyway, and then one of them pseudo-live. Unfortunately, the second battle did turn into a bit of a stall fest, so that plan got thrown out the window. But, hello, this is Happy New Year on this super, professional video of Pokemon Showdown. Now, this is a team I kind of constructed out of, like, I'd say, thoughts from other teams of mine. And I was on my Chromebook. I just recently refreshed all the data, so I lost all my teams on it. I hate that fact that that happens, but, I should learn by now, but I haven't. And, of course, I lost my avatar, so I fixed it after this battle, but, you can't really change it in the middle of battles, so, yeah, it's kind of like your teams. You don't change them in the middle of a battle. But anyway, let's get started. The team is a Extreme Killer Bulky Arceus. I know a lot of people say Arceus, but Nintendo and Game Freak can't seem to make up their minds on that. Arceus in the movie, Arceus on the Pokedex 3D Pro. I'm going to continue calling it Arceus because, one, 3D Pro, and two, I've been calling it that for years, so I don't care. Anyway, moving on, we got Lugia. This is a Subtoxic Stall Lugia. Really quite a nice Pokemon with the set I have running. It's quick, so it's not as bulky as it could be, but it does outspeed things, which lets it get up multiple substitutes. Kind of a nice trade-off. Pressure means it can Power Point stall low PP moves like Stone Edge and so forth. Then we have Primal Groudon. It is kind of the glue for so many teams and Ubers. I am actually running a slight variation on that. I am going to show that off real quick as I did that originally. And as I mentioned, all my teams got deleted, and then I moved over to the tower so I could actually record, and had to remake the team over here. Anyway, Primal Groudon. The thing is, I slapped Overheat on, as it nets some surprising 2-hit KOs that Fire Punch could not, especially as a lot of people expect this to be a fully physical Pokemon, and you don't actually have to run any special attack investment to still net those key 2-hit KOs, which is why I run this set. It actually works quite well. Overheat, unfortunately, does suffer from 90% accuracy, which I don't like, but let's continue. Other Pokemon are Physically Defensive Yveltal, which actually has a lot of utility in Ubers, especially against things like the Zygarde Complete, who likes to Dragon Dance a lot. This thing shuts that down completely. It shuts down Extreme Killer Arceus quite nicely. It can take a +6 extreme speed from Arceus, at full health anyway, and foul play it and one-shot it. Oh, well, yeah, that's pretty awesome. So, yeah, this thing has insane physical bulk. In fact, it actually outbulks Skarmory, which is absolutely nuts. Next, I have Physically Defensive Ferrothorn with just the rest thrown into special defense, as this is a entry hazard setter, and Leech Seed protects kind of stall set with Gyro Ball, just to nail the Xerneases as they try to Geomancy or as they come in, or both. So it can actually net 2-hit KOs with that, and I don't have to try to invest in it. They suggest attack, but the attack there really doesn't help any, so yeah, more defensive focus there. And then, of course, again, bulky Extreme Killer Arceus. Actually, it has enough bulk this way that I can survive a number of hits that you wouldn't expect, because everything lives in Ubers with just a smidgen. Anyway, let's get started, shall we? That was quite a rundown. I apologize for that. But I do decide to lead Yveltal, as it does match up against a lot of his team nicely, and I do predict the Primal Groudon as the lead, and if I'm faster, I can just taunt this thing, let it not set up Stealth Rock, except he's the Rock Polish set, which is a little annoying, but at least I can ensure he's not going to set up a Swords Dance now, and Fire Punch is not even a 2-hit KO. So that's nice. I can just roost this upcoming turn. He's probably going to want to switch up his moves, and he goes for the Rock Slide, and as long as I don't get flinched, it doesn't matter. And, of course, my luck plays in, and I am flinched. super annoying. Unfortunately, I have nothing that wants to come in on a +2 speed Primal Groudon. I'm going to have to let Yveltal go down. That is super frustrating. But I do have Arceus, and as I had just mentioned, this thing can survive hits quite well as a bulky Arceus, and I can just Swords Dance on its face. Now, I usually don't like setting up this early in Ubers, but looking at his team, a +2 extreme speed, extreme killer Arceus can do a lot of damage. And right now, I just kind of want to get back into this. And I do want to break the sash of this speed Deoxys, and he Thunder Waves instead of taking me out, which does mean Arceus is going to live to fight another day. And you don't want that on having an extreme killer Arceus sit there. But he does have Lugia, and I can just extreme speed it. It is obviously multi-scale as the pressure didn't activate, and he's going to Calm Mind, which is annoying. So, personally, I think that the Calm Mind Lugia in Ubers is a little questionable. It really doesn't have enough special attack that even after all the Calm Mind boosts, it's going to really pay off, unfortunately. But it does make a super annoying special wall to take down, so it's not entirely a bad idea. Anyway, I'm going to go just hard switch to Lugia. As he is running the bulky Calm Mind set, it's likely he's also running... he's shown Roost, Calm Mind, and now Psychic as I switch in, which is nice. So odds are he's running Ice Beam. I can't imagine him running like Toxic because that's Stab Psychic only. Mono Psychic in Ubers, which... really not a good thing. There's so many things that resist Psychic in Ubers. So this makes me feel pretty confident just going for the Toxic, as then I can just stall this thing out. But turns out my mindset of him not having Toxic was wrong. So he is a Calm-Minding, Mono-Psychic, Toxic stall, Pseudo-Toxic stall Lugia. But I can win because, yeah, I have Substitute. So I win in the end, and I can go into Blissey, and I'm just going to protect, see what this thing wants to lock itself into. And the reason I say that is because Zekrom loves to run choice sets. Choice Band, Choice Scarf, those are the two common sets. And considering Zekrom's great attack and decent speed, they both work quite well, especially in Ubers, where it's like the only tier it's available, so, you know. But it still does a lot of good work. Anyway, I protect just to see what it wants to lock itself into. It turns out to be Outrage, and I have a perfect option for any outraging Zekrom. And so he's just going to go for it again. He's just clicking the Outrage button, which makes sense, but this is not Gen 5, and even in Gen 5, Ferrothorn was a great check to Dragons, as it is now kind of proving. And this is obviously Choice Banded damage, as I am a fully invested physical defensive Ferrothorn, and it's still doing 20% damage to me, which is actually nuts. But I do have the Leech Seed up, and I have leftovers, so I actually am recovering just about as much as I'm losing from the Outrages, which is kind of sad, and that's why I actually run leftovers instead of Rocky Helmet. But now I can set up my spikes, and that is a great thing, as I don't think he has a Defogger. His Lugia could have been a Defogger, but I've seen its entire moveset, and I'm just going to start setting up my hazards. In comes the Shaman Sky. I could protect here just to get another turn of residual, but I decided I'm just going to go into Blissey. I want to get my my Pokemon cured of their statuses, and he is going to hard switch as Shaman Sky literally has no reason to stay in on Blissey. Seed Flare could help, but with how bulky Blissey is, still not going to do enough. So I'm just going to Heal Bell, get rid of the status, and I'm going to protect, see what it wants to go for. And he high jump kicks, which is actually huge for me. And that was kind of an obvious play, but I was actually more thinking he was going to lock himself into a Bug-type move, but I just wanted to make sure he could have gone for knockoff or something, and I really didn't want to have Lugia eat a knockoff or some Dark-type move that it has hidden up its sleeve. I'm not even sure if this thing gets knockoff. I have to look. But point still stands, some kind of Dark move, just to see what it wants to go for. Turned out to be high jump kick, which I would have quad resisted with Lugia, so that works out. And anyway, that is the first game I had to go over tonight. And then we have one more for our kind of, you know, happy New Year's battle. Now, unfortunately, I am going to need to switch sides, and I did get on my new, or my regular account for this, so, because I actually got off my Chromebook and moved over to my tower. Now this battle, I'm just going to warn you, gets incredibly stally. And why? He's got a Mega Sableye. Now, that one Pokemon does give this team incredible problems, as this is a hazard stacking stall team, which hazard stacking is really powerful, especially in the lower tiers, as a lot of people in lower tiers don't really know how to handle them. But let's see how it goes. I just decided to lead the Groudon, as it hits his entire team pretty well, and if he did want to lead Primal Kyogre, I would probably be slower than him, making his Kyogre pretty much useless, so it plays out well. And if it was anything other than Mega Sableye, I can get my rocks up immediately, but it is Mega Sableye, so I can't. And he's going to fake out. Okay, that's annoying, but whatever. Not the best move in singles, but hey, it's residual damage, if you will. And I'm just going to go for the Earthquake. If I had Precipice Blades, it would be a guaranteed 2-hit KO, which would be nice. Unfortunately, I just could not justify that risk, especially with my luck on Showdown, as the last battle demonstrated. Anyway, Foul Play does an okay 30%, and I'm just going to go for, I believe, Stone Edge, predicting the Ho-Oh to avoid the Earthquake. But still, Stone Edge is a decent 2-hit KO, and I do have a perfect check to Kyogre in Blissey. Special Wall, just take hits all day, every day. Except he crits me, meaning I lose 50% of my health. He's going to go ahead and hard switch. And I don't really care about Sableye here. I can just protect this turn as he tries to fake out, foul play, whatever he wants to do. Turns out he does have the recover, of course. Makes sense. And I'm just going to get my health back up to basically full. And I do believe I go for another Wish, as it'll heal up my Primal Groudon fully, which will be nice. And I do know that thanks to just everything, it won't matter if I take a Brave Bird. Even an adamant Choice Banded Brave Bird will not one-shot me, even at 50% health. So he does go for the Brave Bird. Does 37-ish%, so it got close. I knew I was cutting it close, but hey, when you're in Ubers, things live. Anyway, I do decide to go for the Stone Edge. Kind of an obvious play here, but since he brought in the Arceus, I feel confident setting up my own Stealth Rock, which is nice. So we've traded rocks. Okay, a little annoying, but he does have the Toxic, so he would eventually win. But Overheat, like I said, is a 2-hit KO on a lot of things that it wouldn't expect. And so this does give me an opportunity to try to threaten this Arceus a little bit. Unfortunately, it does drop your special attack, and he does have recover, so it's another Stallmon. Physically defensive, obviously, a little annoying, but Judgment is a special move, and it's pretty more likely that he's running the Judgment over Foul Play. So I'm not even sure if Arceus gets Foul Play. So anyway, I'm going to Heal Bell, just get rid of the Toxic on my Groudon. Necrozma comes in. At this point, I'm not too worried, but I do admit I actually make a misplay here, as I feel Ferrothorn is pretty good check to Necrozma overall, which is technically true. However, if it has Swords Dance, yeah, you'll see what I mean here in a moment. So he does Swords Dance, and I'm just thinking, oh no. Well, I do panic a little bit, admittedly, but I'm like, no, it's fine. Ferrothorn can take any hits, even at +6. It'll still do all right, because I am max physical defense, and I can Leech Seed stall this thing into oblivion. So that's kind of my mindset there. I'm just going to Gyro Ball. It does a decent 13%, so not bad. But at this point, I do predict him to go for that fourth one, go for a layer Spikes mostly, so I can continue to apply pressure even after Necrozma goes down. At +4, it is a little scary. I am going to protect here, predicting him to go for the attack, and it has Morning Sun. Great. So the smart move is to let Ferrothorn go down and go into Yveltal, as I can take this hit, Foul Play it, and destroy it. I don't make the smart play. Let's just leave it at that. I don't make a smart play here. I mean, the spikes are fine. I mean, it's not like my Gyro Ball is really doing anything anyway. And now I'm going to protect. I'm just Leech Seed stalling at the moment. He's going to Sunsteel Strike. That's fine. And with the amount of health I recovered, not quite enough to survive an earthquake. I could have predicted it, gone into Yveltal there, but I didn't. So that's unfortunate. Now I go into Arceus thinking, well, an earthquake should take it out, and I'm pretty sure I'm faster just because of Arceus's insanely higher speed tier. But it doesn't, so I lose Arceus. And then I go into Yveltal going, well, if it's faster than me, it will probably one-shot me. I'm at 75% thanks to the rocks. So this is a bit of a risk, but it turns out I'm faster, which makes sense because it survived an earthquake from Adamant Arceus. So yeah, overall it would have been just smarter to go into Yveltal immediately anyway, but I didn't, so whatever. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead, switch to Blissey, as it does wall this Arceus quite nicely, even if he wants to do the recover stall shenanigans. And you can see why this battle is going to take a while. Anyway, he's going to go into Ho-Oh as I wish up. Now, I do believe I just hard switch right into Groudon Primal, and that does work, except he does have his Defog on his Ho-Oh. It's a little strange to see on Ho-Oh, but whatever, I guess it worked here pretty well for him. And he's going to go ahead and switch to his Mega Sableye. Makes sense. Stone Edge is a 3, maybe 4 hit KO. Not really enough, but I don't really want anything to take a kind of pointless fake out. But now I can go ahead and do whatever I feel like. And at this point, it is the overheat as Arceus comes in. And it does a nice little chunklet again, kind of pressuring him to recover. Blissey, though, does have an opportunity to come in as well. I don't care if he Toxics me. I've got Natural Cure. And so he's going to recover here as I set up the Wish again. And I actually have an idea that's a little bit mean with the Lugia here, as Stealth Rock does get set. Not surprised there. And I'm going to sub here as I predict the Toxic, which, yeah, isn't nice. And this does mean I actually now have an opportunity to Toxic him and start to Toxic Stall out this Arceus. And that's my plan. I'm going to sub-Toxic Stall this thing out, as with leftovers, I can beat it. And so that's my plan. I'm just going to stall this thing out, because right now, I need to start just whittling away at his team. He's knocked out a couple of my Pokemon. Quite unfortunate there. I misplayed, but, you know, kind of happens when you freak out over a +6 to Necrozma Duskmane thinking that it's speedy. So, yeah. Anyway, I'm going to sub again. Toxic is definitely racking up at this point. With the leftovers, I am going to be able to set up another sub, which is handy, and that's exactly what I plan on doing here. I'm going to sub as he Judgments one more time, and does go down to the Toxic here. So I'm at 13%. No matter what he switches in, I'm pretty sure I can take one hit with the Roost. So that's my mindset, and I outspeed Ho-Oh naturally, but it outspeeds me. He's Defog's Choice Scarf Ho-Oh. Well, that's good to know. Very weird, but I guess it paid off there. But Brave Bird is not going to KO Yveltal. Like I said, it has better defense than Skarmory, and I'm able to roost off all that damage, putting myself in a nice situation. Kyogre Primal is going to come in, and it's going to eat a Foul Play, which is actually a 2-hit KO for those who aren't aware, which is just amazing, as it does mean Yveltal gets some KOs you wouldn't think it would otherwise. But now I'm just going to go ahead and Foul Play. I'm not sure why he brings in the Ho-Oh, but it turned... Oh, I Roost, I guess, predicting another Brave Bird. But turns out it has Toxic too. So he's got a lot of Pokemon with Toxic on his team, which is an understandably good move, but you have a Choice Scarf Ho-Oh with Defog and Toxic. Kind of confused me. I mean, it kind of worked out for him in a lot of ways, but I'm going to just go into Groudon, eat up the Fake Out, no problems there. And I do believe I just go for the Stone Edge? Yeah, Stone Edge. Kind of predicting the possible Ho-Oh or him to stay in. Either way, it works out. And Lunala has Toxic too. Well, free opportunity to get my rocks up. Force his Ho-Oh to eat 50% damage coming in. All that fun stuff. And I'm going to hard switch, go into Blissey, as Lunala really can't threaten me too much. He's got Defog on Lunala too, though. So he's got 3 Defoggers. In Arceus, Lunala, and Ho-Oh. really confusing. But I'm going to heal Bell here, and now I'm going to protect just to see what he wants to do. I'm just kind of annoyed at the moment. But, you know, I will eventually get through this. It's just going to take a little while. I'm going to wish on the switch, protect here, just to see what he wants to go for. Turns out it is Brave Bird. No surprises, really. And my Blissey's back up to full, which is actually kind of important against Lunala, which is why I just go for that instead. And Yveltal didn't really need to do that, since I can take 2 Brave Birds just fine. And roost off the damage, which is kind of why I go that route. And he is going to switch again, naturally, and I'm going to roost. So definitely on the frustrating side, but we're 55 turns in, and he does forfeit at that point. And he was actually ranked 1500, so not too shabby there. I'm down in the 1300s right now, but hey, you know, I'm not sure how that team actually worked so well in the 1500s. I mean, it does have the element of surprise, but I am confused by some of those things. So many defogs and toxics, so it's kind of ridiculous, but hey, it gave me some trouble, and it did turn into an absolutely ridiculous stall battle because of that, and I guess he saw he was slowly losing the war of attrition. Him not being able to keep the toxic on and me being able to slowly set up my stealth rocks as he couldn't meant that his Pokemon would eventually fall. Even though he had defog on 2 of them, he didn't really have a way to recover once they started taking a lot of rock damage. And so, yeah, Sableye was the crux to his team, and because I wasn't able to cleanly take it out, it lasted for basically the entire battle and caused me a lot of problems. But bit by bit, I was starting to work my way around it, so yeah. Anyway, those are the 2 battles, and to think that it was 2 recording battles and still 22 minutes. Kind of insane, but hey, it's a fun team, and Happy New Year. I'm still a little sick, and the storms are still going on, which is why we haven't been streaming, but we will get back on that as soon as the weather permits. I will probably still be suffering from a bit of a cold, though, so please bear with me as I deal with the dead voice Blaze, you know. Anyway, I will see you on the next video. Later.